Solopreneurs, I'm going to be honest with you. You don't have a pricing problem, but what you have is a clarity problem. You don't know how to explain your values, you don't know how to justify your prices, and most definitely, you really don't know how to stand firm when a certain client gets to say, I think your prices are a bit too high. So, in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the price framework, a framework that no one gets to teach. And my promise by the end of this video is quite simple. You're going to be in the perfect position to stop guessing, stop undercharging, and then get to finally price with confidence. If you're watching me for the first time, I'm Alan. I help solopreneurs get to price with clarity, confidence, and control so that they get to earn more while working less. But before you get to hit the framework, here's the uncomfortable truth that you need to know. Most of the pricing advice you get out there is total trash. You hear people say, or you're being told, oh, get to price what you're worth. That is one. Two, get to add taxes. And some of you are even told that get to look at what your competitors are charging and then base your price onto that. But whoever gets to do that, I swear and I promise that you are getting your one-way ticket to a business downfall, you're getting your one-way ticket to running out of business, and you're getting your one-way ticket to being broke. Because for what price really is, it is not all about what, but it is all about clarity, it's all about confidence, it's all about communication. The communication between you, the vendor, the communication between you, the seller, and your prospect or your clients in this case. Because most importantly, if you don't get to understand the value, even the prices that you get to charge will always feel like they're too high for your clients. And therefore, in this case, the price framework isn't just a cute acronym that you need to know or you need to be pinning on your wall. It is a 5-pillar step that is going to make your prices make sense not only to you, but also to the clients that you're trying to serve. So let's go ahead and break down this framework. The first character of the framework, which is P, is standing for perceived value. This is how the market gets to see you before you even say anything. And this could be through your branding, it could be through your confidence, it could be through your clarity, it could be through the way you get to communicate with your clients, it could be through the results you get to have for your clients, it could be through your messaging. Basically, everything that you get to do before your clients is what is going to be perceived as value. And for your own information, if your perceived value is too low, even the prices that you get to charge will always feel like they're expensive, even if they are the cheapest in the market. And on the other side, if your perceived value is too high, then your prices will always feel reasonable, however expensive they get to be. Before the clients, they will be like, oh, this makes more sense. And by the way, here's a tactical truth you need to know. People judge your prices before you even get to give it out to them. And the way they do it is through perceived value. So how do we get to raise our perceived value? There are literally 3 things you need to do. 1, you have to specialize in whatever it is that you do. That basically means that get to narrow down in your niche or get to have a micro niche that you get to serve. The narrower the niche, the easier it is for you to justify your higher prices. Because generalists price cheaply and they demand cheaper prices. But as for specialists, these are paid higher prices, meaning they get to demand higher prices. An example I could give here, let's think of a hospital. In a hospital, you can get to find general practitioners and you can get to find surgeons. So in this case, general practitioners are generalists, and for them, they are cheaper in pricing, right? Or in charging lower prices. But as for the surgeon, for you to have an appointment with a surgeon, you need to have loads and loads of money, meaning that because they specialize in surgeons, like in being surgeons or for the brain, for the heart, or whatever the case is, then they get to demand higher prices. And the same happens with you. Get to narrow down in your niche so that you get to demand higher prices. That way, it is easier for you to justify whatever rates you get to charge. The second way you're going to increase your perceived value is by having clarity of the outcome. And here's a quick reminder. People don't get to buy hours, but they buy the transformations that they get by working with you. So if you can't get to explain the transformation your clients are going to get by the end of the day or at the end of the working with you, then your prices will always float in the air just like balloons without strings. It would make no total sense. And then lastly is through proof and demonstrations. This could be presented in the form of results. It could be through screenshots. It could be through testimonials. It could be through case studies. Basically, anything that gets to show your clients that you have the results that they want to get, that if you get to take them through certain processes, they are guaranteed to get the transformation that they want or they deem to have. And yes, I understand when most of you get to post these results, when most of you get to put out case studies, transformations, testimonials, and all that, to some of you, it could feel like you're trying to flex. But tell you what, it is not flexing, but it is just you trying to show evidence. And as we all know, clients buy into transformation. When you have clarity of the transformation, when you have clarity of the outcome your clients get to have by showing these proofs and these demonstrations, then be rest assured that your perceived value is going to always increase. And that is the goal we are trying to target here. Then the next character in the price framework is R, which gets to stand for real costs. So this is where most of you solopreneurs get to lose out lots of money. Because in the everyday case scenario, most of you get to price emotionally, not mathematically, or call it economically. So let me explain this too. When you get to price emotionally, basically you're basing your prices on feelings. Yeah, this could be you feel like it's cheaper for your clients to afford. You feel like you don't want to lose your clients. You feel like it is what gets to serve the market better. But that's a mistake most of you get to do, and that is making you lose lots of money. So what you have to do instead is get to price mathematically, or call it economically. So when you get to do that, you basically base your prices on numbers, because at the end of the day, numbers don't lie. So let's get into the real formula of how you can get to know your numbers so that you get to price mathematically or economically and get to find the exact real numbers for you to base your prices on so that you don't get to lose lots of money. When it comes to finding real cost, all you have to do is you're going to get your time, add tools, add talent, then add effort. So I'm going to explain this in a bit. But basically with real cost, all you're trying to answer is the question that what does it actually get to take for you to deliver your transformation sustainably to your clients? And in this case, the outcomes you get to focus on, or the real things you really need to focus on, are these. So basically, you're going to focus on time. How long will it take you to get your clients that transformation? If it is the clients who want maybe to lose weight, how long is it going to take them to lose maybe a pound or a kilo of weight? Yeah. So that is time. The second thing, you need to take account into the cost of tools, yeah, or subscriptions. For this case, let me give an example. If you're a graphic designer, probably you subscribe to maybe Canva, maybe you subscribe to Adobe Photoshop. All these tools get to cost you money. So how much does it cost you to invest in that tool that is going to help you deliver that transformation to your clients? If it is a gym, maybe you buy gym equipment. Yeah, maybe there's rent that you get to pay. Maybe there's electric bills that you get to pay. So put that into mind. Then next up is talent. Did you learn this skill from someone? Did you learn it from school? How much investment did you put into that for you to learn that skill that you're transferring onto your clients? If you're a gym instructor, the talent you put in could be you took your time to learn the skills. You took your time to learn those recipes. You took your time to learn the art of making people lose weight. So you have to account for that. Put that into your equation. Yeah. And then lastly is the effort. How much effort do you put in to make sure that your clients get to have the transformation? That comes into play. When you add up all these, yeah, your time cost, your tools cost, your talent cost, and your effort cost, what you get to have is the real cost, which gives us real numbers. And as we said, numbers don't lie. So instead of you pricing emotionally based on your feelings, now you're going to price mathematically or economically based on the real numbers that you took in your business. I hope that makes more sense. Maybe if I have to add something small on this, if you get to add up all this, at the end of the day, the numbers you get to have are way more than what it is that you're charging, then my friend, what you're running there is a charity, not a business. But if they're way more less than what it is that you're charging, then you're in business. That is the mathematical or economical part of it. So the next character of the framework is I, which gets to stand for ideal client. So this is basically the ideal prospects or your potential prospects that you're trying to target. All right. If you're in gym fitness business, then those would be people who would want to gain maybe muscle mass. Maybe those are the kind of people who want to lose weight, or maybe those are the kind of people who want to shred. If you're a graphic designer, maybe those are the kind of people who want logos. Those are the kind of people who want maybe branding. Yeah, you get the man. So ideal clients is so important. And here's the contrarian truth that you have to understand. If you're not making money as you wished, then it is most probably that you're not undercharging, but you're talking to the wrong clients or the wrong client fit. Now, let me get to break this down for you. In the ideal client market, there are always two kinds of people. We have bad fit clients, and we have good fit. So the difference between these two is with bad fit client, they always feel like it's too expensive for them. They always feel like whatever it is that you're charging in your business to deliver them the transformation that they want to have is too cheap for them. And the opposite is quite true for the good fit client. For them, if the prices that you get to charge for them, if they make sense to them, they'll feel like, oh yeah, this is so reasonable. So when do we get to start? Now, this is what characterizes bad fit clients. They want cheaper stuff, they negotiate a lot, they want discounts, they're always haggling, and they want to pay you in terms of exposure. And that is the worst thing you'll ever get to pay for. And now, for those of you who deal with good fit clients, now here's a list of good fit clients. To them, they value speed, they value clarity, they value certainty, they value results, and they value professionalism. Anything that doesn't fall into this, then you have wrong fit clients. And something that you need to note here, if your audience is always wrong, then your prices will always feel wrong. So now this brings us to the question, how do you get to filter out ideal clients? Now, I'm going to give you a thorough process or a thorough filter process that I get to use to filter out good clients. It is always one that I get to advise people that work with me to follow. So it comes as a question. Yeah. So the first thing you need to do, you need to ask yourself, does this person get to value speed over savings? Yeah. So this is so important. If anyone gets to value savings more than speed, then that fits in the bucket of a bad client fit. So ditch that. So the second question you need to ask, does this person care more about the results more than the hours? Then if they care more about the hours, then that's a bad fit client. If they care more about the results, then that's a good fit client. The second question, can I really get to help them get or create the transformation that they really want to have? If it is a yes, then you're in a good spot. If it is a no, then you're in a bad spot. And then the last question or the fourth question could be, do they have the financial readiness to pay for the clarity that I tend to offer? If it is yes, that they have the money and the readiness to pay for your service, then that is a good fit client. If they don't, then that's a bad fit client. So if you get to answer yes to all these four questions that I've asked, then you have an ideal client ready for your business. If it is a no for all those, then don't waste your time working with that client. And that is the painful truth you need to understand. Because if it is a yes that you answered, then what you have there is a perfect client. And the more perfect clients you get to have, it is the more easier it is going to be for you to price. But if you have lots of no's in all those four questions that I've asked, then what you have is a wrong client. And with wrong clients, you're going to welcome or entertain stress, anxiety, and discount people, which is always going to lead out to burnout. And at the end of the day, you're going to run out of business. Now, the second character of the framework is C, which gets to stand for confidence. Now, here's what you need to understand. Confidence is not always a mood. It is basically a strategy that you get to employ in your business. And maybe something you need to understand is that clients don't get to buy your offer in the first place. What they get to buy is the confidence and the certainty that is in the offer that you're trying to present to them. And in most cases, here's where most of you solopreneurs get to mess up when it comes to confidence. You're always presenting your prices as questions. You're doing it in a form of apologizing for your existence in that same business, which doesn't really make total sense because pricing has never been a suggestion. Because when you suggest a price, that means you're vulnerable to being undercharged or you're being underpaid. So that is wrong. That has to stop. The moment you get to make your price, you're basically making a statement, and that has to stand. You have to stand on your statement. So stop messing up. And now, for most of you who have been making that same very mistake or messing up in that kind of way, I'm going to give you 3 confidence anchors that you need to apply today. And to start off with, get to price with your chest, not your throat. Yeah, I know this is confusing, but yeah, listen up. When you get to price with your chest, you're basically standing on the fact that you are confident in the price statement that you put forward. If it is 20,000 that you're charging, you're confident that that is it, and you're never backing out from that statement. But for the people that get to price from their throat, it's basically those are the kind of people who know that their prices are 20,000, but when they get to present that statement to the client, midway of uttering that statement, they change their prices to, I'll get to charge you 5,000. Hope you get the difference. So always price from the chest, not from the throat. So the second confidence anchor you need to understand is avoid over-explaining too much. Because the more you get to over-explain too much, you're just showing your clients that, oh, you're not confident of the pricing you put out forward. So you're trying to put out these 100,000 words before them so that you get to justify what the transformations get to be, what the end results that they are going to have tend to be. And that has to stop. And then lastly, don't defend your price, just clarify the value. Because at the end of the day, clients are paying for the value. And if the value means too much for them, that means your perceived value is high, then whatever prices that you get to charge will always feel reasonable. They'll always feel like cheap. So don't fall for the price of you trying to defend your prices. Basically, what you have to do, just give clarity of the transformations that they are going to get. And maybe a pro tip I can leave you here is that your clients will always feel when you're in doubt. But the moment they get to sense that, oh, you're very confident and you're very certain of the transformation that they're going to get, that's when they're going to buy. So don't confuse the two. Now, the last part of the framework is E, which is execution, and it is the most underrated part of the whole framework. But what this really gets to mean is the delivery. And delivery gets to affect your pricing powers. If you get to deliver messy work, what you're trying to create in your clients is discount expectations. And that is something that you don't want to get, because as we earlier saw that when you create discount expectations, all you're trying to create is bad fit clients. And with bad fit clients, you're going to entertain stress, anxiety, and at the end of the day, you're going to burn out. And on the flip side of it, if you get to deliver tight, clean, and professional works, you're going to create that premium expectation in your clients. And as we saw earlier, that good fit clients, all they do care about is premium and professional works. So, meaning you delivering that tight, clean, and professional work, you've created that premium expectation that makes them want to do business with you. And yes, good clients will always make pricing easier for you. Next time you hear of execution, you should never be scared. It is basically one of these. Yeah. So every time you think of execution, I want you to think of the following. It is clear onboarding. How are you getting in touch with your clients? Yeah. So if you're new in business, how do you get clients work with you? Yeah. How do you upsell clients from a cheaper perceived value kind of option to a more higher perceived kind of option? Yeah. So that is this. And when it comes to simple delivery, are you making things tight, clean, and professional, or are you just delivering shady works that are messy? So always aim for clean, tight, and professional. That is how you're going to win. So 3 is clear communication. Are you really speaking in terms of their pain? Yeah? Are you communicating to that ideal client in mind that your business is trying to target? Because if your communication is not targeting that ideal client that you want to get, at the end of the day, you're not going to have any business, because you're going to entertain bad fit clients that won't even make delivery easier for you. All right. Now, the first thing you need to understand when it comes to execution is you have to have predictable results. Yeah. So you have to let your clients know that if you, maybe, let me give an example. If you're into a gym fitness kind of business, yeah, you have to have predictable results. Tell your clients, if you stay persistent for maybe about 2 to 3 months, you're going to get shredded. You're going to lose 20 kilos, or you're going to lose maybe 10 pounds of weight. Yeah. So be predictable of the results that you're going to get to give your client, because when you get to do that, it is going to make communication easier for you. It is going to be easier for you to achieve that premium expectation through delivery, And when you get to do that, even your onboarding process is going to become easier, which makes execution way more tight and way more professional. And then lastly, you have to have organized follow-ups. Yeah. So don't just give value to your clients. Yeah. So using the gym example as earlier mentioned, yeah, when your clients get to lose those weight, do you just stop there? No, that is bad execution. You have to go ahead and do follow-ups. Yeah. So maybe they come to you the first time, they want to lose weight, and you give them a series of templates, a series of checklists that they have to follow. Don't just stop at giving them checklists. Always do follow-ups. Check on them. Oh, you joined. How do you find this process? How do you find the diet plan that I gave you? Are you for trying to follow each and everything as the checklist suggests? Yeah. So that way, you're going to create some sort of accountability. You're not only going to be just any other coach, but you're going to be a friendly partner. And the more point you're going to make via follow-ups is the more it is going to be easier for you to deliver or easier for you to execute. So anytime you think of execution, I want you to think of these five. That is clear onboarding, simple delivery, clear communication, predictable results, and organized follow-ups. Maybe just to leave you with a pro tip. Premium pricing will always require premium execution. So do premium services of all this, and then you're going to have premium pricing. And at the end of the day, that is what we are trying to target. So when we get to put all these initials together, that is the PRICE, we're going to get a leveraged process or a leveraged framework that is going to help us stop undercharging, that is going to help us stop guessing, that is going to help us gain more leverage or gain more control and clarity of what it is that we get to price in our businesses. And by the way, if you want to get to know more about pricing, there are two things you really need to do. One, get to join our free school community, called theClimbers, where we digest everything that gets to do with pricing. The other way is you're going to grab my book. It is coming out next week, so be ready for it. Yeah, maybe I'm going to leave all links to this in the description. One for the school community and another for the book. So check this out.